Whatever your opinion on prequels, we can all admit that in this, the age of the franchise, they are more prevalent than ever. Most are divisive or downright hated. I'm looking at you, Star Wars. But there are some prequels which add more to a story, information we as an audience were looking to find out. Like The Hobbit book, of course. I've been considering the prequel for a long time, but last weekend I watched Netflix's Army of Thieves and something clicked. I think Army of Thieves is the perfect film to use to discuss one of the main reasons prequels can fail. Army of Thieves is a prequel to Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead. It is written/directed by and stars Matthias Schweighöfer. Schweighöfer plays Sebastian, an unassuming German bank teller who also happens to be the world's greatest safecracker. We spend the first 10 minutes with Sebastian. Everything from the camera movements to color choices shows us just how boring this guy's life is. I must say that for a while I was excited. It felt like this film might actually be going somewhere. But very quickly we run into a problem. Sebastian is supposed to be the audience surrogate, our way into the story, but he is just inherently detestable. The script does a great job, but Schweighöfer's performance is grating and annoying. I think this probably has something to do with the fact that as director no one wanted to tell him, and so it wasn't corrected. Maybe next time this guy should ask people what they think. Okay, rant over. Sebastian is recruited by Gwendolyn, played by Natalie Emmanuel, Game of Thrones. Gwendolyn is a character who wears a drastically different outfit in every single scene. Seemingly for no reason, disguising yourself is acceptable when you're an internationally wanted criminal, but when Guz Khan is wearing the same outfit for the full runtime it begins to seem like she is being oddly sexualized. Costumes aside, Gwendolyn is actually a really good character. She is developed enough that she feels like a real person. Her motivations, while weak, are no weaker than Sebastian's, and Emmanuel brings a sense of control to the chaos unfolding. By this time we are about 20 minutes in and I've not explained the plot. That's because the film doesn't really either. It's very vague. It seems Gwen wishes to break into 3 special vaults which can be found all over Europe. She and her crew don't really want to steal anything, they just want to be the ones to break in. These vaults are each named after pieces of music by Wagner, which allows Hans Zimmer to blend Ride of the Valkyries and other Wagner bits and bobs into his score. Joining Gwen is tech genius Karina, Rubio Fee, getaway driver, Guz Khan, and some guy called Brad who acts as hired muscle. The main reason I watched this film in the first place was that Guz Khan was marketed as a big part of the movie, and I was disappointed to find that he's hardly in it. He is also probably the worst written character in the whole film. Karina has most of the jokes and is fun to watch. She also has a pretty good backstory and doesn't feel like cardboard. The film plays out almost exactly as expected. They break into the first with very little hassle. Then an incident occurs and the team split up. Brad, who is Gwen's boyfriend, is very upset that she is spending time with Sebastian. So he leaves Sebastian behind. This makes Gwen and Karina angry because they like Sebastian. Khan, who has so far done nothing but praise Sebastian for being a cool dude, sides with Brad for no reason other than Brad needs a driver. This is so boring. Khan flips in a second. His whole character feels different. It's like 30 minutes of his screen time has just been cut. It made me really angry because Khan is talented and ended up wasted here. Up until this point the film has been perfectly acceptable. There are a few genre subversions which I enjoyed, the diverse European cast are fun, for the most part, and the Zimmer score is fast-paced at times and smaller when needed. It feels less like a heist movie and more like an action film playing at being at doing a heist. The actual break-ins feel less than integral to the plot and tacked on so that the crew have something to do. It also has no need to be a 15. The gratuitous language and CGI blood spatters add nothing, and this could easily have found a larger, less discerning audience as a 12. The end is where the film fails as a prequel. I haven't seen Army of the Dead and don't intend to. For the most part the film seems unconnected. It works perfectly as a film in its own right, not a great film but one that at least makes sense. After heisting the second vault the crew are captured. Karina is last seen entering a police car. Khan and Brad don't even get a goodbye. Gwen is left with an Interpol agent at a pier somewhere in Europe and Sebastian drives off in a speedboat. Then he appears in America with his own shop and is asked if he wants to heist the third vault. The film frames this as a happy ending, upbeat music, fade to black and all. But I don't feel satisfied. What happened to the characters I've spent time with? Will I get to see them again? Given that Army of the Dead is a film about zombies in America, I think it's unlikely anyone other than Sebastian will ever be seen again. The film is not a self-contained story. There is no 10 years later title card before We Sebastian in America, which would have at least allowed for a direct heist-based follow-on to Army of Thieves. Say what you will about The Hobbit, but at least it ends. I'm fine with story elements continuing into the sequels, like The Ring, but Bilbo's main journey, the dwarves' story, is over. The other problem is the tonal inconsistency between Army of Thieves and Army of the Dead. Whatever your opinions on Star Wars, all of the first 6 films were rated the same. All were a science fiction film and no one was going to watch the prequels who hadn't seen or was intending to see the original trilogy. The films were all epic space operas with lightsabers. A zombie film appeals to a totally different audience than those who will watch a heist movie. The heist movie audience, from experience, is looking for something light, fun and enjoyable. They don't want a horror movie about zombies. That's not to say that switching genres in your prequel/sequel is a bad thing, there's probably a plethora or examples I can't think of. But each of those examples will have started out with a strong core group of likable characters and it will not just bring over one of those characters to its sequel. As audiences we need stability, we don't like change. We live in a world where 80% of films are sequels, reboots or Marvel. I appreciate you made an effort, but next time take a proper look at the cinematic landscape you are entering.